I have maybe an hour before the last of my ice melts. So, let me tell you the truth about what's been hunting me. My name is Elsa, and I used to be the Snow Queen of Arendelle. Used to be, because right now, as I'm recording this, I can feel the final fragments of my ice palace crumbling around me. The walls are weeping, literally weeping, as centuries of frozen magic turn to nothing but puddles at my feet. But this isn't about losing my powers. This is about what I found living inside them. Pause, sound of something heavy falling. It started 6 weeks ago. I was in my study, working on new ice sculptures for the upcoming winter festival, when I heard singing. Not Anna's voice. Not any voice I recognized. It was coming from deep within the ice walls themselves. A lullaby, but wrong. The melody was beautiful, haunting even. But the words, God, the words were in a language that made my soul ache just to hear it. At first I thought it was just the wind. You know how ice can make strange sounds when it shifts. But then I realized the singing only happened when I was alone. When I was using my powers. That's when I started paying attention to my ice. Really looking at it. And I saw faces. Twisted, anguished faces trapped just beneath the surface of every snowflake I created. Every icicle I formed. They were screaming, but no sound came out. Just their mouths open in eternal, silent agony. I tried to tell Anna, but how do you explain that your magic, the thing that saved your kingdom, that brought you and your sister together, is actually a prison for tortured souls? The singing got louder, every day, every night, and with it came the whispers. They told me things, terrible things about what I really am, about what my powers really cost. See, I always thought my magic was a gift, something beautiful and pure that I was born with. But the voices, they told me the truth. They told me about the ancient queen who came before me. Centuries ago, long before Arendelle was even founded. Her name was Keon, and she was the first to wield the ice. But Keoni's power came with a price. For every snowflake she created, a soul was bound to the ice. For every winter she brought, lives were claimed and trapped forever in her frozen realm. And when she died, her power didn't die with her. It waited, passed down through bloodlines, choosing hosts who didn't know what they were really agreeing to. That's what I am. I'm not special. I'm not chosen. I'm just the latest prison warden for thousands of tortured souls, and I never even knew it. The faces in the ice started moving 3 weeks ago. At night, I could see them pressing against the walls from the inside, trying to break free. Their eyes, God, their eyes were so desperate, so full of rage and pain. They'd been trapped for so long, some of them for centuries, and they blamed me for keeping them there. But here's the thing that terrifies me most. They started talking to me directly. Not whispers anymore, but full conversations. They told me their names, their stories, how they died while my ice consumed their world. A farmer who froze to death in a blizzard I created. A child who fell through ice while skating on a lake I'd frozen. A mother who couldn't keep her baby warm during a winter that lasted too long. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. And then they made me an offer. They said if I gave up my powers willingly, they would be free. All of them. They could finally move on to whatever comes after death, instead of being trapped in my ice forever. But there was a catch, of course. There's always a catch. If I gave up my powers, I would take their place. I would become one of the trapped souls, and whoever inherited my magic next would become the new prison warden. The cycle would continue, but at least these particular souls would be free. I almost said yes. Can you imagine carrying that guilt? Knowing that every beautiful ice sculpture, every gentle snowfall, every moment of winter wonder I'd ever created was built on the suffering of innocent people. But then I discovered something worse. The power. It's not just trapping the souls of people who died from cold. It's actively hunting. Every time I use my magic, it seeks out the most vulnerable people in the world. The sick, the elderly, the children, and it feeds on them. Their life force gets absorbed into the ice, and their souls become part of the prison. That's why my magic felt so good to use. That's why it was so intoxicating. I was literally feeding on human suffering, and I never knew it. 3 days ago, I felt it happen in real time. I was creating snow for some children in the village, just innocent fun, when I felt this tug, like something was being pulled out of me, but in reverse. And I knew, somehow, I just knew, that somewhere in the world, someone had just died so that those children could play in my snow. So I stopped. I stopped using my powers completely. I locked myself in my palace and refused to create even a single snowflake. And that's when the real nightmare began. The souls in the ice. They started getting angry, violent. They began breaking free from the walls, not to escape, but to torment me. Shadow versions of myself started appearing, showing me visions of everyone who had died because of my power. They forced me to watch their final moments, over and over again, and the worst part, my magic started fighting back. It needs to feed. You see, it needs those souls to survive. So when I stopped giving it fresh victims, it started consuming itself. That's why my ice is melting. The power is literally eating itself from the inside out, and it's taking me with it. But here's what I realized. This isn't about me anymore. If I die and the power passes to someone else, they'll go through the same thing. They'll create beautiful ice and snow, never knowing they're building a prison of souls. And the cycle will continue forever. Unless ... They're here now. The shadow versions of myself. They've been getting stronger as my power gets weaker. They want me to embrace the magic again, to start feeding it souls so they can return to their prison. They're whispering that it's not so bad, that most people die anyway, that I'm just speeding up the inevitable, but I won't do it. I can't. So I'm going to do something that's never been done before. I'm going to let the power consume itself completely. Yes, it will probably kill me. But when it's gone, when there's nothing left, the cycle will finally be broken. All those trapped souls will be free, and no one else will have to carry this curse. Anna will never understand. She'll think I just ... faded away. Maybe that's better. Let her remember me as the sister who learned to control her powers, not as the monster who fed on innocent lives. Long pause. Sound of ice completely stopping. The ice has stopped dripping. That means it's almost over. I can see them now, the souls, but they look ... different, peaceful. They're smiling at me. And for the first time in weeks, I don't feel afraid. They're thanking me. I can feel myself getting lighter, like I'm made of snow myself now. The shadows are retreating. They can't exist without the power to sustain them, and the power is almost gone. To whoever finds this recording. If you ever meet someone who can control ice and snow, who seems like they have a magical gift ... run as far as you can, because that gift comes with a price that no one should ever have to pay. My name was Elsa, and I was the Snow Queen of Arendelle, but more importantly, I was the last ... The ice is finally ... gone.